Out of 3, and come on, let's get the third one up and running. Let's see. There we go. I think we are now cooking with gas. Sarah, let me know if we got everything. I see Facebook, now YouTube. Okay, I think we're having a little bit of technical issues with some of this stuff, but there we go. I think we got all 3. Sarah, do we have all 3? But yeah, now I think we're doing all right. So let's kind of get into this. Yep, I see people coming in and joining, so welcome everybody. We got you on Simpler Trading's Facebook and YouTube, and then Profit Pilot's Periscope. So we got that with the Instagram. So yep, should all be good. We're going to be getting into it with the market. You know, it has been a slow couple of weeks just watching everything just cycle on down. People have been talking about quarter rebalancing, quarter end, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, it's taken a long time to get here, and we're starting to see some green shoots. Now, I personally think that the indexes are a little bit weird, but we'll kind of go through that because I'm looking at a lot of names, and a lot of individual names are showing us the double bottom, you know, the elf shoe formation. And I'm looking at them like, you know, this usually works, and there are a lot of people going to be trying to fight for this area, and let's start watching to see if this works out. So I'm going to be showing you guys some patterns to look for and how that all works out. And then we do also have, I do a live trading for subscribers who pay for it, and we're going to do our final one on Thursday. So finally, I think we're going to have some material to work with that we can actually go take some trades. In the meantime, come over here if you guys don't know anything about me, profitpilot.com, profit-pilot. And then we can go here and you guys can see the latest stuff that I'm looking at. We've got another one that's coming out today talking about this double bottom formation and is it going to hold and what are we looking for and all of that. So this is a pretty good resource. I get a lot of people commenting, well, in the comments, and also saying, hey, we really appreciate what you do here and how you're writing, and people pick up some good tidbits. So yeah, go check it out. Now, as far as the overall market, it's a little funky. You know, what I have not been enjoying, and for those of you who kind of know the Moxie indicator and stuff, I don't like that the Moxie indicator on the daily chart is below 0. That is an inverse trampling move. I've done some writing about it. Price should not be over the 50 if the Moxie indicator is below 0. It's not always perfect, but boy, when it's right, it's right. And the fact that it keeps persisting underneath 0 just has me a little bit concerned. It is based on the daily chart, so that's a longer time frame chart, and the S&P is a big ETF, and so it's like a big ship that kind of moves slowly. So that's in the back of my head. I'm aware of it, but I can't do anything about it until I start looking at the lower time frames. So if that is a bearish signal, then I can't be bearish until we start seeing things break down. And one of those ways to see things break down is either an inverse trampling move on the hourly chart, which was right here. Price should not be over the 50 if the Moxie indicator is below 0. Or if price really just actually hits the underside of the moving average, which we got here, and you can see that price ran into the underside of the hourly 50 and the Moxie indicator fired to the short side on that, and we definitely got some moves down. You can see here that was also price running into the underside of the 15-minute 50. Now, since then, kind of stepping back, price did bounce off of the daily 50. Okay, and then what we're looking at is I was looking for price to kind of hang around here, hold the 15-minute 50. It's doing it, but it's not doing it in the strongest of ways. So the way I'm looking at that is, let's get the computer, there we go, is, you know what, we were looking here, there's a gap between price and the 15-minute 50. That's an issue, so I want that to be fixed. Well, we got it fixed yesterday, but it kind of mushed through the 15-minute 50. It's not very strong. It should have just bounced right off of it if it was going to be strong. So the fact that it kind of mushed that through, yeah, it's a little concerning. And then the Moxie indicator, not looking super good either. You know, it's a lot of it burned off yesterday, you know, all that down movement. And then you can see we're starting to get some negative divergence compared to price trying to go up. Now, again, can't call this quits yet. You know, it's moving, but it's not super strong. And the other thing that I'm looking for, ultimately, the big picture test that I want to see is I want to see price actually confirm on the hourly chart. And right now, with the price being over the hourly 50 and not touching it, you know, this is an issue for me. So I'm looking at this thinking, at some point, I'm looking at the S&P having to come back down and test the hourly 50 somehow. So has me a little bit concerned. Remember that we do not have any stock trading. The markets will be closed on Friday. So that's what we're going to be doing as well. Just make sure you know that there's no trading on Friday. And so we have today and then we have tomorrow for the market. And then we go into a 3-day weekend. I'm going to be keeping it pretty light going into that weekend. And because I just keep seeing that at some point I want to see a pullback. All right. And then if we look at QQQ, and Sarah, as far as my end goes, everything looks good. I have no dropped frames. So we'll have to see if that kind of keeps up. All right, now the NASDAQ. We're making a little bit of progress here too. And what I'm happy about, all right, so what I'm happy about here is that today, look at this, finally, price has been able to get past the hourly 200. So every time before, it's been resistance and resistance and resistance. And today, it finally pushed through. This is why I could kind of see that some things were starting to set up. This is why I took a few trades yesterday. I started to nibble in the market. Look here. You see this on the 15-minute time frame? That is a 15-minute trampoline move. So price below the 50, but the Moxie indicator above 0 is a trampoline move, and we finally started to see something constructive yesterday. The other thing I noticed, and this is these are little details, but this is the kind of detail and precision that I do and how I teach. Notice that the Moxie indicator is actually starting to trend up right there, whereas before it was trending down. And this, what you could see is, we kind of had this double bottom. We had that retest of the low area, and then we had price kind of hold in right here. And I was like, yeah, I think we might be getting something. So I looked around, and I'll be diving into a few names so that you can see where I'm looking at for individual names. And I could see, yes, a few names were starting to get over their 15-minute 50s and actually start to move to the upside. I was like, okay, we're going to have some green shoots here. Then the other thing that I was seeing for the IWM is we have this overall major double bottom. We could probably see it better on the weekly, but if we look here on the daily and the hourly, you can see here was the double bottom, right? Here is the double bottom. Now we didn't have much to really talk about on the Moxie indicator. It's not really divergent or anything that's like that, so not much to do there. But then if we do look here a little bit closer on the hourly chart, and some of my subscribers were calling this out too. They're like, hey, I think we see an elf shoe on the hourly chart. And I said, yes, we just needed to confirm. So here's your leg, here's the heel, here's the arch of the foot, here's the ball of the foot. Now we're starting to get that elf toe. So this is all starting to kind of work out pretty well. That's good. Let me just also note one more thing, that the other day, price ran right into the underside of a downtrending hourly 50. So that was like the first thing. They're like, okay, that didn't work. Now we're actually over the hourly 50. So we're making progress, but we're still not out of the woods yet because the hourly 50 is still on a downtrend and the Moxie indicator is still below 0. So we've got some time before, don't worry, we're not going to be missing anything. I don't think these things are just going to start taking off and ripping on us. And then what we could see here on the 15-minute as well, get that all zoomed in, is yesterday price did get over the 15-minute 50, and if you look at the Moxie indicator right here, it was at least turning up and looking good. So just barely things were starting to kind of get in there. Well, let's see if I can do anything about the... Yeah, I think I'm going to be leaving it. Yeah, sorry, I know it's a little bit choppy here as far as the video and stuff. Maybe what I can do is maybe we'll turn the video off and see if that kind of helps anything. But we'll kind of keep pushing along and see what you guys can get, because so far it looks like everything is good on my end. All right, then if we look at some of the individual names that have been moving, you got to think a little bit about current events. The Biden administration is talking about another few trillion dollars of infrastructure spending, I guess, over the next 15 years, or 8 years rather. And so that's going to be something that we're looking at, and money going in there. So what is it going to be involved in? If you look at Blink, because if we're looking at trying to say, hey, we're going to have infrastructure, we want it to be all that new future tech that we're talking about: electric cars, electrification, the grid, alternative fuels, alternative energy, solar panels and solar and all that. So what do we have with Blink? Yesterday, we got Blink to finally get over the 15-minute 50. Moxie indicator was looking pretty good here too on the 15-minute time frame. And then all of this was a trampoline move on the hourly chart because the Moxie indicator was above 0. So that one is looking pretty good. And we're on the daily chart. You can see here, here's your leg, here's your heel, here's the arch of the foot. It actually took 2 patterns. And then there's the ball of the foot, and then we're looking here for price to be going up. So that one's looking all right. It actually took a couple tries because if you look here, there was leg, heel, arch of the foot, ball of the foot, and then had a little bit of a false toe right there as price tried to run up, and then it got stuffed. So a lot of these things have needed to take a couple tries at this. Another one, let's see, F-cell. I think that one was moving today because again, you got to think of kind of these alternative energy type plays. And as we get this one zoomed in, and even on the 15, we can see this as well right here. So look at this. Leg, heel, here's the arch of the foot, and originally I was looking at this as the ball of the foot, but if we look here on the hourly chart, it just never held. Price was underneath the hourly 50 the entire time, and so it didn't work. It was definitely one of the ones I was looking at. So you scoop back, you say, okay, arch of the foot, and now look at this. Now we're coming back down to the ball of the foot right there, and you can see we've got positive divergence. You've got basically a double bottom right there, so that's on the hourly. And then the other thing that we have is there is a elf toe, elf shoe within the elf shoe. So here's the leg, here's the heel, here's the arch of the foot, there's the ball of the foot, and there is the elf toe. We're starting to get that. And then what you can see here on the 15, there's the double bottom, there's the positive divergence, and then yesterday right there we got price over the 15-minute 50 and the Moxie indicator looked like one line, which is very good, very strong, and now we got price to be moving up here. So what we're going through from here, I know that there are some moves, and I know people are looking at this and maybe there's a little FOMO out there. I don't know if Governor FOMO is out there. I love that screen name, by the way. And if we're looking here, I'm not so worried because number one, where are we at with F-cell? We're up here at the upper third ATR for the hourly chart. So it's a little extended. And then if we also look, price is basically floating in midair on that hourly chart. So, good move, okay, but not the move. There's going to be some movements around here. There's going to take some time to get this thing figured out. The other thing is, look how far price is from the 15-minute 50. That's going to have to be fixed at some point. And then the other thing I'm looking at is here on the daily chart, the 8 is still below the 21. You see how before, when the 8 was below the 21, that it couldn't close it all the way? So there's going to be another move like this. I'm looking for, and keep in mind, the hourly 50 is still in a downtrend like that. What we want to see is for price to stay above the hourly 50, and then we want to see the 50 kind of maybe angle up like this, and then we want to see price come into like that and bounce off of the hourly 50. So we've got some time. Yeah, no, the feed isn't doing so great, so we're going to have to kind of do the best that we can for today about this. All right, so we've got something like that. Plug is another one, and I think Plug was actually having a pretty good day today. Let's kind of get this zoomed in. But again, these things are not actually ready to go as far as a swing trade goes. These are some very short-term trades that we're dealing with right now. And so if we're looking here, it's the same kind of thing. Yeah, we've gotten some divergence. See how price coming down on the hourly chart? Notice how the Moxie indicator basically went flat and now starting to tick up. That's good. This is all happening. Here's price on the 15 down. The Moxie indicator is up. And look, the Moxie indicator looks like one line. So that's very good and very strong. But what's the issue with Plug? What you'll notice is that Plug has not actually tested or touched the 15-minute 50 yet. Just like back here. It moved up, but when it went to touch the 15-minute 50, it fell through. Now, I think this time is going to be different. I think this time is going to be stronger, but we still can't quite say, okay, this is going to be the one, now we're going to be off to the races, because look at this. The hourly 50 is still in a downtrend. So these things they've got some work to do. And eventually, once price does move up, we're still also going to have to deal with the hourly 200 as well. And one more time, look at the daily chart. The 8 is still below the 21, and so we've got that as an issue. Another name that I'm looking at, DDD. So this is going to be with the 3D printing space. So DDD, SSYS, NNDM, and then X1. And you can see I'm seeing kind of the same stuff. What you'll notice is all the stocks that I tend to be looking at, they're all kind of doing the same thing. A lot of things are just really trading the same way. So if you look here on the daily chart, you got your leg, you got your heel, you got the arch of the foot, and you got the ball of the foot, and now I'm looking for that elf toe to start developing. And then if you look here on the hourly chart, there's your level, there's your double bottom. Look, here's our positive divergence, and we got the